Hello friends, and welcome to part 2 of my Amazing Readathon vlogs. This is going to be legs 3 and 4, although I've actually just realized that I'm probably going to end up, depending on when things end up dropping, I'm probably going to have to include leg 5 too, because then next weekend is face-off weekend. And I don't want to have like a vlog that's like half before face-off weekend and then half after face-off weekend. We are traveling now to Berlin, Germany, and the prompt for this is to read a book that has an action word in the title, or movement in the title, I guess is technically. I'm going a little easy with this one. I do have kind of a busy weekend. So it's Friday morning, June 7th, as we're starting this leg. And I have kind of a busy weekend. I have a celebration of life for my husband's aunt on Saturday, and then I have a graduation party for my cousin's daughter on Sunday. So not sure how much I'm really going to be able to read, plus I need to get the first 2 legs, the vlog, edited and uploaded today. So I'm going a little easy on myself. I'm picking something that is really short, that I know I'm going to be able to finish within the time frame, and then we'll get back to sightseeing. I am reading This Is Where We Talk Things Out by Caitlin Moreau, I think is who it's by. This is a host favorite. I don't know where that bruise came from. This is a host favorite from one of our spooky team leaders, Lexi. It is horror. I'm hoping it's not going to be too like graphic and stuff. I actually might check trigger warnings for it before I actually start reading it and get back to you. Because the last host favorite that I read from Lexi, I can't remember if it was for this readathon. I think it was for Realmathon. I can't remember it's by Max Booth III. I remember that. And it's about a family who gets like stranded in their bathroom like during a hurricane. I don't remember what it was called, but it was gross and weird. Like it was like extreme horror. And I ended up DNFing it. I was not here for it, but maybe I'll double check that before I start reading that. Double check some trigger warnings. So I'm not going into it like being blindsided. But as far as I am aware, it is about a woman who has a very, very toxic relationship with her mother, and she goes to meet her mother to sort of like talk about their issues in their relationship and whatever. And they just end up, some weird things end up happening. I don't know. All right, just check trigger warnings. And it does appear that there's definitely some like toxic behaviors, but nothing super like gory or graphic seems to be happening. So I think we're good. Also, I realized I never really said what the Amazing Readathon was at all. I'm not going to go too much into it because I have explained it. I did explain it at the beginning of my last vlog, so if you haven't watched that, go watch that. But it's essentially a competitive team-based readathon that's kind of based on The Amazing Race, where there are 10 legs and we're traveling around the world, and each leg has a prompt that we have to read in order to travel to the next city. I'm on Team Spooky. And yeah, that's the bare bones of it. There's a lot more to it, but that's the bare bones of it. I'll link down below Bree's announcement so you can go watch that. If you're just watching this and you didn't know that it was happening, it is it's not too late to join. You can just join in on whatever leg we're on. You don't have to go back and backlog or anything and catch up with previous legs. You just join in on whatever leg that we're on and go from there. So, all right, I am gonna edit my first vlog, and then we'll get back to, and then we'll start. This is where we talk things out. We'll see how that goes. I'm a little scared. It's a little out of my comfort zone. I'm a little nervous, but I think we're here for it. All right, friends, so I have finished This is where we talk things out. What a fucking weird book. I don't even know what to say about it. I mean, I pretty much what I said about it already, I think, is as much as I really want to say about it. I don't think we need to say much more. It's so short. Hi, baby. It's so short that, like, I don't think I should say much more. I think you should just kind of be along for the ride and experience it for yourself. It definitely... Let me say hi. He just woke up from a nap. He's still a little half asleep. It's definitely weird. I don't know. It's not the kind of thing I would normally read. I kind of saw the end happening, like I knew what was gonna happen. So I think that just kind of took some of the enjoyment away from me. 'Cause nothing that happened, like, towards the end of it really blew my mind. I kind of was like, yeah, this is where this is going. So I gave it 3 stars. I found it, like, intriguing to a point. And it definitely was crazy, but it just wasn't really the kind of thing that I would normally read. And I just found the mother to be just incredibly annoying, and it's not the kind of thing that really, like, makes for a good reading experience, in my opinion anyway. That it just, like, made me angry, and I just didn't really understand why Miller had even agreed to see her mother at all, if her mother was this toxic of a human being. I've completed it, so I'm in Berlin now. That's record timing for me, and probably still have at least a couple days. I'm gonna guess that the next prompt is gonna drop on Sunday night. I think it's gonna be Sunday night. I would say Monday night, but we got one last Monday night, so I don't think she's gonna do it on the same day. I think that would be too predictable. So for now, I'm gonna go back to reset, and we'll see if how much more of this I can read, or alternatively, maybe I'll get to halfway through and then decide to DNF it, because I really haven't been wanting to pick this book back up, to be completely honest with you, but I need to at least try to give it another chance. I kind of wish I picked a longer book and saved, this is where we talk things out for, like, face-off weekend or something, but you know what, it's fine. I stand by my decisions. I just knew I probably wasn't, gonna be able to read much tomorrow. So I just wanted to make sure we got to Berlin. I don't want to get behind on my city prompts. Hopefully for the next leg I can read a longer book so I can get my team some more of those page points. So it is like 8:30 now on Saturday, 8:30 at night. So I had a funeral today. My husband's aunt passed away, pretty unexpectedly, a couple months ago. It started absolutely downpouring rain just as we got back to the vehicle from the, like, graveside service part of it. And then we went to a little gathering afterwards, and got to see a lot of family. Logan, the baby, got to see, or a lot of people got to see him. I don't know that he cares about seeing people, but anyway, people got to see him, which they really liked. So we got to see a lot of family and stuff. So it was a sad day, but also a nice day in the way that, funerals are. Anyway, I think I'm gonna DNF this. Also, I realized I very casually, in the last clip that I filmed, just was like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep reading this, and then didn't at all tell you what it was about. If you watched my first vlog for vlog 1 for the Amazing Readathon, then I talked about it in that vlog, but I haven't talked about it in this vlog. So this is Reset by Serena Dolan. Dahlan. Dolan. This is a sci-fi. It's classified on Storygraph as a thriller. It's not a thriller. I don't know what it is. So this takes place in a like post-apocalyptic futuristic utopian world where everything is very, very carefully controlled in order to maintain that utopia. One of the things that they do to maintain the utopia is that every 4 years everyone's memories are wiped and they're assigned new identities. And this is just kind of to keep them from forming prejudices, from just to keep conflict from forming and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But there's a secret society of people who have this substance. It's called absinthe. I don't know if it's actually like the same absinthe that we have, like the alcohol. Not entirely sure. But anyway, it's called absinthe, and if you drink it, you get your memories back. And so we're following a couple people as they're going through this. One of these people is kind of a leader of this group. They're called the Dreamers. And he has his memories back, and he's trying to find his wife because, or she was his wife in one of his past lives or whatever, and he still misses her, still loves her, wants to try to find her. And then we're also following the perspective of the woman who was his wife in a past life, although she does not remember him. It's very kind of almost literary. There's a lot of very like intellectual ponderings about the morality of a utopian society in general, which is often what comes up in these sort of societies where, yeah, everything seems perfect, but nobody has any free will. And so, is that really perfect? But the people who, like, bring their memories back, they can't do anything about it, because the people, if you remember somebody who you loved in a past life, they don't remember you. And so what's the point of being able to remember somebody who you used to love if you can't do anything about it? Like, I just don't... I was just expecting it to be... I don't know. I was expecting something more. I also was expecting... And maybe we get it in the second half of the book. Maybe I just haven't gotten far enough into it. But I was just expecting us to get... I think the behind the scenes of this world seems very interesting to me. How this got started, how this happened, the apocalyptic event that led up to this city being formed is more interesting to me than what's actually happening in this book. Also, the behind the scenes of like who's in charge here, who's making sure that people's memories are wiped, who's making sure that we keep this perfectly calibrated utopian society. Somebody is keeping track of this. Who's doing it? We never find out. As far as I've gotten anyway. We don't find out. It's just, it seems like a really good idea, but it's just not, I don't know. The plot is just very meandering. I don't really understand the point of the story, and it's just not going in a direction that I would have thought was more interesting. We're just like, I don't know. It's just, I'm like enjoying it while I'm reading it, but when I put it down, I have no interest in picking it back up. And that's really not the mood that we want for Amazing Readathon. It shouldn't take me, I should be able to finish this like tonight, and I'm not going to do that because I'm going to be playing on my phone and watching YouTube videos and doing anything to avoid picking this book back up because I don't want to read it. And I don't, that's not the mood that we want right now. So we're DNFing it, but I got over halfway, so we're still going to be able to submit it for the sightseeing prompt of foiling on the cover. It has this on the naked hardcover, and it also has foiling on the dust jacket regular cover. And then we're gonna pick a new sightseeing book. I have another thing again tomorrow. I need to go to the grocery store in the morning before the baby takes his first nap, and then I have a graduation party in the afternoon. So, I'm not sure how much more I will be able to read tomorrow, but we're gonna go ahead and do a, pick another sightseeing book. And because I'm indecisive, I'm going to use the spinner wheel again that I used to pick foiling on the cover. I didn't use it for the last couple sightseeing books that I read because I was just trying to find short ones that I would be able to read quickly. But we're gonna do the spinner wheel for all of the prompts that are worth 500 points. And we'll see which one we get, and then we'll pick a book. Okay, friends, so, I'll insert the footage of, my spinning, and I got a Brie 5-star. And once again, we're going off TBR. I possibly should have looked at all of the books that are actually on my TBR to see if she's given any of them 5 stars. I've just been like slogging myself through a book that I really wasn't enjoying that much and then DNFing it. I need something that I'm not going to be able to put down. I need something maybe a little spicy. It's just what I'm feeling right now. So, am I reading Priest right now by Sierra Simone? I think I might be. I don't know what to think of this. I don't know what to think of this development, but I was just, let's go down through Brie's like 5-star books on Goodreads and we'll just double check. And then Priest came up and I was like, oh yeah, she does love Sierra Simone. Am I gonna read Priest? I think I am. I know absolutely nothing about this book except that it's a romance between a priest, who, of course, priests take a vow of celibacy, but apparently he decides to not be celibate anymore. I don't know exactly the details of how that comes to pass. And it's steamy. That's all I know about it, and I'm here for it. And I really hope I can finish. I really hope that either I can finish it before the next prompt drops, or if the next prompt drops, maybe it'll work for it so I can just pivot and end up using it for the next prompt instead of using it for a sightseeing book. Because I don't think I'm going to want to have to put it down while I'm reading another book, so. Alright. I'm gonna go start Priest, and I will report back. I can't believe I'm reading this book. I'm a little scared. I started Priest Saturday night, and it was already like 9 o'clock Saturday night, or like, I don't know, it was pretty late Saturday night when I decided to start Priest. So, I only got like 35 pages into it. And, sorry, I'm just reading a text message from my mother. I didn't get very far into that, and then the next prompt dropped way earlier than I thought it was going to. Well, not way earlier than I thought it was going to, but it did drop yesterday, Sunday, at, like, it was, like, mid-afternoon, like, midday, like, or very early afternoon. So, earlier than I thought it was going to. And I hadn't read anything else. I was running around doing some productive stuff around the house. My cousin's daughter graduated high school yesterday, so we went over, there was like a whole party situation, but we missed the party because my parents were over visiting, and then we went over just to drop off a card and visit with them for a little bit, and then we ended up going out to dinner, impromptuly, I don't know if that's a word. So I didn't end up reading much last night either. But my original plan so the prompt dropped. Let's talk about that. I'm a little scattered all over the place. I'm sorry. I will talk about why a little bit later in this clip. But so we're going to Paris, France for the next leg of the race. And we have to read a book that won an award. So because I read such a short book for the last leg, I wanted to read a little bit of a longer book to get my team some more points. I think I've made a mistake, but we'll talk about it. So the book that I ended up picking was The Vampire Lestat by Anne Rice. This has won a bunch of like horror awards and stuff. I think it won an Edgar award, and yeah, so this has won a bunch of awards. I'm gonna try to see how much I can read of this tonight, and then if by tomorrow morning I have not gotten very far into this, I'm gonna reevaluate, and I'm probably gonna end up pivoting and switching to a shorter book because I'm just not gonna be able to finish this before the time the next leg drops. And I don't want to get behind on the legs. So I can save this for a sightseeing book. It works for a bunch of things for sightseeing. So I can still keep picking away at it and trying to finish it. So that's the plan currently. So we're going to see how much more we can read of this. Like I said, I am going out with my mom today. So my parents came and visited yesterday, and my mom did get some pretty alarming health information. I did not know any of this was going on until yesterday, but over the last, I guess maybe month or so, she's been having some testing, and she's still waiting. I don't want to say too much on the internet because she currently does not want too many people knowing about it, and I don't think anybody that I actually know in real life has found me on YouTube, but just to kind of honor her wishes, I'm not going to say too much about it. And plus, we don't really know. She's still waiting on some testing and stuff before we find out what for sure is going on 100%. But just, any positive thoughts, positive vibes would be appreciated. I don't know, prayers if you're into that kind of thing. We're not really, but, at the same time, not going to turn them down if somebody wants to pray for our family. So we're not, I think even best case scenario, it's still not great, but worst case scenario, it could be really, really bad. So that's just been a little bit kind of on my mind. That was kind of shocking information to receive, and I've just been a little scattered. And I mean, I come by my ADHD naturally. So she tends to hyperfixate on things, and right now what she's hyperfixating on is doing all of the research that she can about what's going on with her and trying to figure out tangible things that she can do so that she feels like she's in control of what's going on. And so that's what we're doing today. We're going to the library and doing some research, and we'll probably go out to lunch and maybe like the grocery store or whatever also. So that's what's going on today. So like I said, I'm really gonna try, when we get home from that, I'm really gonna try to just like buckle down and read. It's not reading very quickly so far, but I think once I get into the story, it's also, guys, it's like 550 pages long. And look at this print. It's so tiny. I should tell you what this is about. So this is the second book in the Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. The first book being Interview with the Vampire, which was, of course, made into the movie with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. I don't remember a lot of the first book, to be completely honest with you, because I read it like 15 years ago. It was a long time ago, guys. I read it a very long time ago, and I do remember really, really enjoying it, but I just read it a really long time ago, so I don't remember a lot of what happened. But I know that Louis, I feel like Louis and Lestat had a little bit of a falling out at the end of it. I might need to look up like what happens. Anyway, basically in this book, I don't know how much, because I don't know how much happens in Interview with the Vampire, so I don't want to spoil things that happen in Interview with the Vampire. But basically Lestat ends up kind of discovering that Louis has done this interview and had this kid write this book for him. And I'm not sure how he feels about it. I think he's mad about it, but it's hard to tell how he's feeling about it at this point. And so he's determined that he's going to find Louis. For what reasons, I'm currently not quite sure. And and then he's going back and telling us his stories. He's going back to how he became a vampire and like his backstory and stuff. Yeah, it's just reading pretty slowly. I'm hoping once I like get into it that it's gonna read a little bit more quickly. But I'm just currently having a hard time with it, and I'm regretting. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea to pick this for a city prompt, because I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish it. I'll let you know later today, after I've read some more of this, how I'm feeling. Alright, editing Stacey, popping in here. I'm getting ready to edit this chunk of vlog, and for whatever reason, a couple of my clips got like corrupted. Like I couldn't export them so that I could edit them, and my phone wouldn't even let me like play them. Like it would just like look like it was loading on a computer. I don't know exactly what happened there, but one of them, I'm not sure what actually happened in it. It was only an 8-second clip, and so I'm not sure what happened in that clip. But the other clip was the clip where I said that I finished The Vampire Lestat. I really did not think I was going to be able to finish this book before the next leg dropped, and I managed to finish it within the time of the legs. In fact, I think the next leg dropped like a couple hours after I had finished this, so I finished it. I was very happy with myself. I didn't greatly enjoy this book. I think for part of it was that I wish that I had been able to take more time with it and had not had to rush through it for this readathon. I wish that I had been able to not, just take my time with it a little more. I think I listened to most of it on audiobook, and I think especially when I'm listening to an audiobook for like all day without pausing it and putting it down, I tend to zone out quite a bit where I'm not really listening to the audiobook. And I think that didn't help anything. I think if I'd actually been able to take my time with this a little more, read the entire thing physically, be able to like put it down and only read like 50 pages a day, and like have some time in between to like think about it a little bit, I think it would have gone better. I think I would have enjoyed it more. Overall, I think I just felt like this, it's been a while since I read Interview with the Vampire, but it just felt like a lot of the same things happened in it. It felt like Lestat was just dealing with a lot of the same guilt and issues and whatnot that Lewis deals with in the first book. I also always thought his name was pronounced Louis, but I listened to the audiobook, and the audiobook narrator pronounced it Lewis, so I guess it was Lewis. Anyway, what I will say is that I think that this book does give Lestat a little bit of, I guess maybe a villain origin story. Maybe that's the wrong term, but in Interview with the Vampire, Lestat seems like such a bad guy. He seems like kind of the villain of that story, and Lewis seems like he's the one who struggles with guilt over killing people, and Lestat just acts like he doesn't even care. And we find out in this book that at least at this point in the beginning of the story, Lestat did care about killing people. He didn't want to kill people, and he loved humans a lot more than a lot of other vampires do. But yeah, I don't know that I'm going to continue on with the series. I have quite a few of the other books in the series, but I feel like they're just going to start feeling very repetitive. I am mildly interested to see where the story goes, because the end of this definitely sets up what's going to happen in the next book. So I'm mildly interested to see what might happen. But also these books they're so long, and the print is so small, and it's very, very densely written. And I just don't know that I'm gonna want to continue on with them. I'm not officially unhauling them, like, for sure, but I'm definitely contemplating it. I don't know what these children over here are doing. Anyway, that was the clip that was missing. I finished this book just in time, and I didn't end up doing any sightseeing. That leg, and then the next clip is where I talk about the next leg, and that one was fine. So I just had to come back and talk again about the Vampire Lestat. The next prompt has dropped. We are traveling to Cape Town in South Africa. And our prompt is to read a book with some kind of plant life or like nature on the cover. And I'm going to be reading They Drown Our Daughters by Katrina Monroe. I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest with you. I was hoping for something really quick and short, but I really need to start reading the books off of my TBR. So here we are. This is a horror, but I believe it's like a little bit of like a literary horror. The blurb on the cover here says, "It will both break your heart and scare the hell out of you." It also says on the back here, part modern gothic, part ghost story. It explores the depths of motherhood, identity, and the lengths a woman will go to hold on to both. As you can see, it has flowers on the cover. I'm interested. I'm here for it. This works for our team genre, and also apparently Katrina Monroe is married to a woman, so it works for LGBT plus also. It's not as long. It looks longer than it is. It's under 400 pages, so Face Off weekend starts in like 48 hours or less than 48 hours. So am I going to be able to finish this before then? I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to do my darndest. I did find the audiobook on Everand, so I can listen to the audiobook. It is Friday morning. It's about 10:30 in the morning, and I have finished They Drown Our Daughters. So this follows Meredith. She's kind of in the process of sort of breaking up with her wife / they're sort of going through some things and taking a bit of a break. So she goes with her 7-year-old daughter Alice back to, I think, somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know. It doesn't say exactly where it is. To her childhood home where her mother lives. Her and her mother have a bit of a strained relationship, and her mother is in the very, very early stages of Alzheimer's, although she is doing her darndest to try to hide that fact from everybody around her. There's this kind of legend within Meredith's family of this kind of ghost of a girl who lives in the ocean and sort of like calls to the family and kind of haunts them. Meredith doesn't really believe it, but her mother certainly does, and it's kind of a point of contention between them, and then Alice starts showing a affinity for the ocean and finds a pink shell on the beach that she starts talking to, and we kind of go from there. We also follow, along with following Meredith and Judith's perspectives, we also follow the perspectives of some women kind of throughout the history of this family and their experiences with what happens in the ocean. A lot of them have either gone missing or committed suicide, and this is all kind of chalked up to mental illness. However, is it actually mental illness, or is there actually some kind of curse, some kind of demon or ghost or something in the water that is calling to them? This book, it reminds me a lot of, if you've read How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, it kind of reminds me a little bit of that. It has a lot of differences, but it reminds me a lot of that in that it kind of has this like spooky horror thing going on. It just also has a lot of character stuff going on. These characters are all going through a lot. There's a lot of character growth that happens. There's a lot of kind of heavy emotional stuff that happens in this book. And it was really, really interesting. I will say that I don't think this is as well written. I don't think the story is as well crafted as How to Sell a Haunted House, and I did not find the like horror creepy parts as creepy. In fact, I really wasn't. The beginning of it, I would say, is a little unsettling as you're kind of figuring things out a little bit, but I wouldn't say I was ever really scared during the course of this. And then there's some kind of weird stuff at the end that like I don't fully understand. All of the like I feel like there was some explanations that we were missing here. I feel like there were some things that I would like answers to. I didn't love the end of it, I guess we'll say. I did still give it 4 stars. I thought it was a really good book. I did also spill water on it. I don't know if you can tell that corner is like a little like water damaged. And the cover of it is kind of like peeling a little bit. This book has like been through it. It's also got like one of those covers where it shows like every like fingerprint. So it's all like weird and shiny from me holding it. Anyway, it's fine. So that's it. We're in Cape Town. Face Off is starting in like an hour and a half, so I think I'm gonna regroup and maybe take a little bit of a YouTube break, and I probably should edit what I have so far here going on before Face Off starts. So that is it for this vlog, guys. I will have a separate vlog for the 48 hours of Face Off and everything that I read there. And then we'll move on to leg 6 after that. So I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I will see you in my next video.